Hi guys, and welcome to this video. Today we are going to create such an amazing dashboard that is absolutely incredible for the Power BI dashboards we are used to. First, let's take a look at it. The first is the visual of the header, which in addition to the title contains a notification with a link to your personal account. Next we see stunning cards with key indicators, one card representing one visual. Below them is a column chart with sales dynamics. The legend allows you to highlight series, as well as turn them on and off by clicking. Of course, there are tooltips and much more. Then on the right there are two lists. These are visuals of the table, created using Power Styles. In one list there are top products, in the other there are top countries. Visuals support highlighting on hover, as well as cross-selection of data by clicking on rows. Below is a list of recent orders. This also represents a table with Power Styles. Order IDs are clickable links that can be followed, for example, to the CRM system. The table has pagination mode enabled for convenience. You can change the pagination alignment, as well as its size. A search visual has been added to the table. It allows you to quickly find the desired order in the table using the specified fields. Just type a few symbols and press Enter, or activate the instant search mode. This is very convenient, especially for the mobile version. The dashboard ends with a donut chart displaying sales by product category. The chart allows you to cross-select report data, as well as highlight the desired categories when hovering. Okay, let's get started. First, let's import the following visuals into the report: big card, simple card, column chart, table visual, donut chart, search box. You can download all these visuals in your personal account on the custom-visuals.com in the download section. There you can download ready-made dashboards, including the one we will be creating today. Next, go to Transform Data. The Power Query window opens. Let's select New Source and Web. We will add a link to Google Sheets, which will contain an Excel file. It is important we do this for informational purposes. Never do this with sensitive data. Use safe and protected data sources in your work. To get the link, go to Google Sheets, select File, Share and Publish to Web. Next, select Link, Microsoft Excel and entire document. Copy the link and paste it into the field. Select the order sheet. Great, let's look at the data. I noticed that dates were not recognized correctly, so let's assign them the date data type manually. OK, click Close and Apply. Good, now I want to resize the canvas because the width of 1280 pixels makes the visuals too large in full screen mode. Let's set the width to 1600 pixels and height to 1000. We will make a dashboard in dark mode. OK, let's start with the column chart. I'll add the order date to the bottom axis field, and I'll leave only the month there since we will limit this chart to 1 year. In the series we will put profit and sales. Oh, by the way, I also want to remove from the visual the built-in standard formatting elements that are unnecessary for us. These are the title, background and header icons. Good, now let's set a specific visual size, for example 800 by 300 pixels. So then move on to formatting the visual itself and add a header. You can choose it outside or inside. We need it inside. Let's go to colors. In general, there is a very good automatic palette here. You can also specify one color for all series, but I want to set them manually. Great. Make the appearance of the columns so that they are rounded not only at the top but also at the bottom. Let's rename the series and show the legend. The series are highlighted when you hover over the legend. Super. Now I want to filter the data in this visual so that there is only 1 year left here. We're using a hierarchy, so I'll have to add a year field to the axis, then select 2022 in the basic filter. Of course, in your tasks you can use advanced filtering or even top N for dates. And I'll move down one level in the hierarchy. Okay, let's move on. Oh, I'll adjust the scaling to fit width. Okay, now let's get down to numbers. Firstly, we don't need precision to 2 digits after the dot. And secondly, we will set the currency format for the profit and sales fields of the dataset. That's better. It's time to change the background. Since we are creating a dark mode dashboard, the background of the canvas needs to be dark, for example 192-133, and without transparency. Great. Let's add a dashboard title based on the big card visual. To do this, I want to add a sample table with report meta information, which will contain information about data refreshes or notifications from the CRM system for the current user and more. Of course, when working on a real project, you will be able to obtain this information from Direct Query or Power Query. Our visual supports Power Styles. This is our team's own development. You can get the documentation from the link in the video description. First, I want to add a measure that displays the dashboard title with an icon. We write the style icon pie chart. Then size, S through the pipeline and also text through the pipe. Okay, let's see how it works. Just put the measure in the top measures field, and we will remove unnecessary formatting elements. Increase the text size a little, and add a gradient background to the card. Super. Now I will create a notification for the user. Let's create a measure. If there are notifications in the dataset, then display an icon with a link. This will be the bell icon. Icon color is orange, size X's, no text. Okay, I'm adding it to the top measures. They're next to each other on the left, so I'm going to use the cool horizontal alignment option and tell them to leave all the white space in between. Now we need to add a link to our bell. I just add the link parameter through the pipe. Great. Then we can send the user to read the notifications. This is especially convenient when using direct query. Okay, let's move on. Now it's time to add simple cards with key indicators. I'm creating a measure to display sales for the last day. Okay, let's add it to a simple card. We will also set the data format to currency. Great. Let's reduce the size of the card and disable the built-in formatting options. Looks good already. Change the color scheme to a gradient one with the same shades as the header. This visual allows you to display an icon in the upper right corner. This will add emphasis to the information. I'll select the light gray calendar day icon. The icon codes correspond to the regular font awesome icons. Make 3 copies of this card to display other indicators. I'll play around with the size and position a bit. Similarly, I add a measure for sales over 7 days. There's a mistake here. I forgot to change the equal to symbol to greater than or equal to max date. I'll fix that later in this video. I changed the icon and color. I do the same with the shipping cost measure. The title is too long, I'll shorten it. I'll correct it a little and add one last measure for profit. It looks great, we're done with the cards and we'll move on. It would be great to see a list of orders as well. For this we will add a table visual. I'll put the fields in it: order ID, product category, order date and sales amount. I will sort the table by order date. We will also need profit and shipping cost fields and rename these fields. As usual, let's remove the built-in formatting options. Great, now I want to make our order ID with a link. The table accepts power styles and we use them by creating a new column. The code will be as follows. That is, we created a link to the order with order ID as text and in bold. I'll place this column in the table. Now, by clicking on an order, we can get into the CRM system to work with the order. By the way, I will disable the option to select rows in the table. This is convenient since we do not need it. This table supports pagination, which in many cases is much more comfortable than scrolling endless data. In my opinion, the order date is inconvenient to read, so I use power styles to transform the appearance of the date. I'll add a column order date formatted with the following code. The result is a text and subtext style, which gives us a more convenient, compact, and modern look at the date. I would also like to transform the product category view to add more emphasis. To do this, create a column with a power style badge with the following code. Here we assign a different badge style for each category, and then display it with a soft format. Let's put it in the table. This is what we need, a stylish and modern category attribute. Okay, don't forget about the header inside the table. I will also slightly reduce the number of items per page and increase the height. We need a visual to search for an order in the table. By the way, most likely in future versions of the table we will probably add a built-in search for the table without the need to use a special visual. Although of course, this special search visual will be very useful in other use cases. Let's add it and place the order ID and order date field in it. It will search for text in all added fields. So, let's remove the unnecessary. Also move the search to the top of the table, pointing it to bring to front. Since we are making the search visual as part of the table, I want to make it transparent. To do this, I select Transparent in the box styles. The search settings have a lot of interesting options, for example, a minimum number of characters for a search, case sensitivity, instant search without having to press enter, and more. I'll reduce the text size and try searching. By the way, if you are searching within one visual, you can disable the search interaction for other visuals to improve performance. So, type in part of the order number and press enter. Cool, we found this order. If the visual cannot find any records, then the search string will be tinted red. Let's check out the instant search. It searches immediately while we are typing. In the settings, you can select a delay in milliseconds. This is the time between the end of typing and the start of searching. The smaller it is, the faster the search will be performed. For the mobile version, we recommend making this value larger than for the desktop version. I'll adjust the placeholder and move on. Next, we will have sales by product category. For this, we will show them in the donut chart. Let's put the category and sales in the visual. Okay, I'll turn on the legend. When you hover over it, the sections are highlighted. I also want to see category names in the center of the chart. And adjust the total member. There is also an option only on hover, but for us it is not relevant in this use case. In the legend, I'll add a percentage display, and also center the legend at the bottom. We remove unnecessary things and add a header. By the way, you can display a footer to give, for example, instructions or show some important note. There is not enough detail by category, therefore I will use subcategories and expand the hierarchy using drill down. It would be better for the legend to move to the right. Basically, we don't need to display the top categories in the view, so I'll go up the hierarchy and go straight down to the subcategories level. Or you can simply remove the category field. That's better. By clicking on sections of the donut chart, we can cross-select data in other visuals. Let's continue. To complete the picture, it would be great to see top sales by product as well as by country. I'll do this using tables. Let's start with the products. I put the product names and sales in the table. Let's fix it a little. As usual, I'll turn on the header. I want this top to look like a list, so I'll turn off the column titles. You can also turn off the borders. This top list will be short, a maximum of 5 or 6 items, so we need to disable pagination. It's very useful to see the thumbnails of products, so I'll connect a sample table with photos to the data model as an example. It will simply contain the product ID, name and link to the photo. Okay, I'll connect it to the orders table. Let's place a column with the name of the products from the products table. We have empty values due to an incomplete dimension field. We will simply turn them off. I would like to remind you once again that I'm doing this to show the capabilities of visuals. Of course, when working on a real project, you need to use other more correct approaches to modeling. By the way, we will try to do this with the countries table. For now, let's add a power style column to the products table with the following code. Here we just have an image, link, and the name of the product through the pipe. Okay, not bad. Let's add a rounded image style after the pipe, or even a circlounded one. Super. The table has selections enabled, but I'll probably turn them off, and I'll still turn off the borders so it looks like a list. And sort them in descending order of sales. Great, now let's add a list of countries similar to the top products. Let's consider a more correct approach to selecting top countries. For this we use the top N filter, adding sales in the by value field. I also want to add an interesting indicator of changes in sales over the past 2 weeks to see the dynamics. I'll do this using the Power Styles icon element, adding a measure with the following code. Here we will first display an arrow up icon in light green color with the text sales for the last week. Oops, it's time to correct the mistakes I made at the beginning of the video. I need to correct the equal to symbol to greater than or equal to. Okay, back to the list. I will format the sales values in currency format and rewrite the code using variables. Good. Now let's add the sales values for the previous 7 days, so we will compare the last 7 days with the second last 7 days. Also, calculate the change using the divide function. Although it is better to use subtracting one value from another, it will be more correct. Depending on the change, we will select the icon and the color of the icon. It turned out great. I want to see country flags, so I'll add countries with a dimension table and connect it to orders. Add a custom column to Power Query. It will generate a link to the flag image based on the country code. Okay, let's connect the table. This apparently happened automatically. And create a Power Styles column with the following code. Yep, we've got an error. Most likely the problem is in the filter, which comes from the orders table. I'll delete it and then redefine it to the reference from the new table. Great. I'll do one more design trick to make the left side of the dashboard more consistent with the right in terms of the height of the visuals. To do this, I'll just insert a rectangle with rounded corners and place it under the chart and simple cards. And so we have a top-end dashboard that combines ease of reading, modern design, cool features, and high performance due to a limited number of visuals. Thank you for watching. In the next video we will create a mobile version of the dashboard as well as a light theme, so subscribe so you don't miss anything.